Yeah, so earlier today, I woke up, did the stretch, the yawn, thought to myself, self, I will be productive today. Okay, so when made a cup of coffee. While that coffee is cooling off, getting ready for delicious sips, I go through the YouTube feed and see that Miss Mia Culpa posted a short video about the soy that's in her store bought cookies and the soy that is in her um, Reese cups. So, candy. Well, it's something that I've known before, but it's something that I've been successfully ignoring, I suppose, is the soy content within everything, damn near everything. Now, this is where I'll make the first claim that I would be fine with somebody counterpointing me on, but soy products that you consume, even transdermally, like shampoos and conditioners and things like this, are ultimately a xenoestrogen or estrogen like. They can become estrogen once they've entered the human body. And soy has become, in the consumer market, nearly unavoidable. Like I said, it is in shampoos and conditioners, it is in nearly all food. So, after Miss Mia Culpa pointed out the few items that she had that had soy, I began to wonder, what do I eat that has soy? And without getting into the specifics of it, you can also just say I'm full of shit. That's fine too. But what actually happened was I looked through at everything that I generally eat, things that I eat on a normal basis, and the amount that had soy in it was all of it, everything. Then I looked at where do I eat if I want to go out and just have something to eat and not have to cook myself. Where would I go? I go to Sonic usually. So looked up Sonic's soy content and all the bread, all the processed meats, everything has soy in it. Everything. Okay, so then I started thinking to myself, I'm having a really hard time motivating myself to get up and go to the gym, to get up and be physically active. I'm having a really hard time making that happen. Hey, Jamal, thanks for coming, brother. And then I began to put two and two together and think, well, could it be because if you increase the soy, aka xenoestrogen intake, for the entire US population, or at least the vast majority of them, what would you see taking place in the world? And then I thought to myself, well, what you would see is the women who are getting a healthy amount of estrogen naturally would begin to go crazy. Okay. What would happen to the men of this country? They would be more feminized, less motivated, less physically active, and their sexuality would begin to, at a minimum, decline, but with doses like double the estrogen, you would also have a fair amount who actually become just flat out feminine or feminine in their mindset and behavior. I think it's a pretty reasonable thing. So ultimately, I guess I'm saying they put water, they put chemicals in the water that make the frogs gay. I guess is what I'm saying. Uh, but it's way more than that actually. Which, by the way, when Alex Jones said that, I'm not an Alex Jones guy, but I've consumed some of it before. What's up, BJ? Thanks for coming in, brother. Um, but Alex Jones was right about turning the frogs gay. I mean, it's a meme and it's funny, but what's messed up is that we don't remember he was right. I mean, that's happening. The chemicals to the male frogs are making them become female in behavior, sometimes even biologically develop differently in a more feminized fashion. So another one like that got memed to all hell and was forgotten what was actually said was, some of you may remember the "Don't Tase Me, Bro" meme. And that was at a college campus where a guy stood up and asked John Kerry, uh, says, "Hey, aren't you and Bush both members of Skull and Bones, the secret society at Yale?" And that's the question he asked. And then there was, hemming and hawing and laughs and blah, "Don't tase me, bro." And then he got tased and haha, we all had a good clap. But the man asked about the only two presidential candidates, both being part of an extremely elite, small, super tiny club for life. So memes can be our enemy if we allow them to be twisted in such a way. It's messed up. So anyway, to come back to the point, I realize that everything that I eat has soy in it. Nearly everything I drink has soy in it. Soy is a xenoestrogen. I know for a fact that I am mentally and physically able to become physically fit. So what is suppressing my masculinity? And I propose that it is, at least in part, the soy, the xenoestrogens in my food and my drinks. So I'm thinking, I got to cut the soy out, man. Soy's got to go. No more Sonic burgers. No more. But I mean, like I said, I'm looking in my cabinets in my fridge, and everything that I normally eat has soy in it. So I have made a commitment to myself to say I now have a severe soy allergy, and I must behave as such. Because it's true. It's true. I do have a soy allergy. The result of consuming soy is you will become a cat boy or a trans person or a homosexual, and also lethargic, and also you will not live up to your potential. That's poison. That's poison. So I have a extreme allergic reaction to soy now, and this is going to be difficult. But I've got to do this for myself, man. I know this is an obstacle that's right in front of my face that I can overcome. So I've got to do this much for sure. BJ Blaskovich Gaming says water doesn't have soy in it, and you're damn right. You can't drink enough water. I've discovered that alkaline water is a lot. Well, it tastes better, and it seems to make me feel better too. That's another thing. I need to get a water filter because I know better, but I've been drinking tap water, and I know that basically tap water is full of more xenoestrogens. It's full of more pharmaceuticals. The water filters were not designed to filter out psychoactive chemicals like are in people's antidepressants and mostly birth control pills. And so if you drink tap water, you are consuming a smorgasbord of antidepressants and birth control pills. So it's not ideal, not to mention the fluoride, but it's the weapons that are being used against good people, which is absolutely everyone that's not included in the secret societies or the little club of those who are informed, the special people, the chosen people. Yeah, there's a fridge filter on the water, but that's not good enough, man. I was looking at like Richie from Boston's content, and he sometimes plugs this water purifier system. I believe it boils the water, so it's more of a distilling, which I believe you could do better than that. Distilled water is not great. I mean, if you got to drink water, of course, tap is just garbage. You can't drink tap, period. End of story. Hey, Hulkerine, thanks for showing up. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Uh, but man, there's just got to be some way that you could have like the minerals in the water and yet have it filtered free of all, say, the birth control urine and antidepressant urine that goes through the system. You know, hmm. It's got to be a way to do it. But anyway, I think that the payoff for eliminating the fluoride and the xenoestrogens of all kinds, especially from soy consumption, can do nothing but help me. And yeah, I think that's the way to move forward. I think so. Life straw system, yeah, those are actually pretty neat where you can drink contaminated water. But I'm talking about daily consumption, like daily. You should consume what, a gallon of water a day is about right, I think. But can't keep buying these alkaline water gallons from the store, uh, which I haven't looked into them either. They may even have fluoride added. I mean, it's just the hey rabbit, thanks man, thanks for coming. Um, I mean, they may even have fluoride. I know that some of the bottled waters do have fluoride included, which is wow, it's amazing. It's You should always be skeptical whenever the government's trying to give you something for free. Always. Why would they pay to add fluoride to our water? Most like European countries and countries in the Netherlands and stuff have banned fluoride from the water because of how ridiculous it is. Where you have people buying their own fluoridated toothpaste anyway, and then you're going to put fluoride in the water for their dental health. And then fluoride turns out to be a byproduct from some industrial process to create like steel or something. I'm not sure about that. But it is a biological hazard and has to be disposed of as hazmat unless you pour it into the water supply, and then it's for your health. It's expensive getting bottles of mineral water. It's better than tap water. The rust in tap water can cause stones in your kidneys and gallbladder. Yikes. Yeah, actually, got a little too much information for you here. When I was actually at the VA hospital, they had to do an ultrasound on me for whatever reason and did say I do have a kidney stone, though it is not obstructive. So I guess that's just something to look into, something to look forward to, even maybe. I don't know. Passing a kidney stone may be a trial, a fire that makes me become. No, probably not. It would just be really painful, and that would be that. Nothing is free, someone pays. Yeah, that's true, I would say in general. Since I want to be just an arguing asshole, I would argue against that and say, well, there is something that's free, and that's when you create money out of thin air, like the central banking system does. Yeah, that's kind of free. So, if you were able to issue fiat currency on top of gold reserves you don't have and charge interest on that, and you were part of a group that will all stick together and not talk about how this is done, and then you become an institution, and then you become in control of such large amounts of the world's money flow that you are irreplaceable. That's kind of free. That's that's how you dominate an entire Earth, actually. But whatever. What's up, YouTubers? Like, comment, subscribe, and I got nothing. Thoughts on the mafia? Um, that's very broad. Um, I mean, there's been several mafias by several different groups and things like this, but Mm, there's only one that really matters in the current day, which have really um, incorporated all the others, and that mafia, if you will, goes to the top and beyond. It's you know, it's a pyramid of elites, and you're not even going to get into the top certain percent unless you can carry the right bloodline. And we all like to think that that's not the way the world operates anymore. That was back when there were kings and queens and things like this, but that's just not true. Um, there are absolutely bloodline. Um, Power flows through a bloodline, and the elites are very aware of that. The Italian mafia, I don't know. You know what? I've been so Hollywoodized about the Italian mafia. I mean, Goodfellas is one of my favorite films. Casino is one of my favorite films. Uh, so, I kind of have a romanticized opinion of the Italian mafia. So I can say that coming in because it's been Hollywood that has fed me the Italian mafia. So, I mean, Sopranos, I mean, that's literally my three reference points. I would think Sopranos, Goodfellas, Casino, and uh, a Mafia Hitman interview. I hope it was what's his name, Kuklinski, the Iceman. That person I found so fascinating that I watched both of the HBO things where they interviewed him and also read the book. And that makes me a super smart person because I read a book. If you weren't picking up on that, that's what you should jot down in your notebook, is that I'm super smart because I read a book. Thank you. Um, and Kuklinski was so methodical and detached. And it was fascinating to see them interview him both times. It was interesting to see how much he enjoyed after the first documentary. He enjoyed the fame, notoriety, and attention. You could tell in the second documentary. And okay, you read the books too. Well, then of course, man, you're a big brain boy. Galaxy brained like myself. I have read a book. I have read multiple books. I'm no Vox Day. You know, I've read a book. I saw the movie on him. No, it was someone wearing a Black Clan-like mask. Oh, that's the Zodiac Rabbit. The Iceman looks like my dad. Oh, snap. Chad. Hey, Kuklinski, the Iceman, was definitely a Chad. That dude was like 6'15" or something. He was a big old boy. They said they had to use the leg restraints on his wrists. Uh, yeah, he was a big guy, and he talked about like doing this like spray, cyanide spray. Yeah, or cyanide in a drink. Like he would say, he would go into. He talks about one time that he hit a mark in a gay bar by going in pretending to be gay, putting a bunch of cyanide in his drink cup, and then spilling it on the guy. And I think that's the one where he says, and he died shortly after, but uh, what the causes were wasn't homicide. So that worked out. Wow, dude, it sounds like Russian, like not even Russian, just like 007 cloak and dagger shit that people live their lives like that. That's crazy. Um, it's the thought crimes is real. That's so much more real than we are actually willing to admit. What's going on here and how we're being curated. It's already happening now. We're just not going to be aware of how thoroughly this was done for another few years. Then we'll find out that, oh, yeah, for the last 5 years, we've been watching everything you say, post, like, all that stuff. And now you're in your little group. And we got your little group. And your little group is, You can't be trusted with anything, really. Me and Chad can both read, correct? Sources say Chad and Boo Madley have been put in jail for thought crimes. Yes. However, I do have a 11-year-old Twitter account that's never been banned. Psst, mafia doesn't exist, capiche? That's how mafia work, though. That's how mafia work. Italian mafia were originally about paid protection and avoiding debts. It was around the 70s and 80s when the mafia became all about power, money laundering, and drug dealing. Paid protection and avoiding debts. So, yeah, so that's just, as they say in Goodfellas, you're the police department for people that can't go to the police. Yeah, that's right. That's why when you get involved, with the darker side, you're just like, oh, well, I'll just get involved here and make a quick buck and dip. But no, because if you start dabbling into the darker side, what happens is now the darker side has something on you in which you can't go back to the light if they were to expose it. It's just the dark side operates under blackmail and fear, and that's not even hard to understand, really. I don't get on any socials. I followed a bunch of people on Instagram today, but I just don't really care for it. And here's the only reason I got a problem with Instagram. It's because it's Zucked. It is a Facebook app. It is, it is Zucked. So I don't like to get Zucked. Roger is not going to have an in-depth opinion on the mafia. I hope he does. But he won't. How has anybody seen Mr. Peabody and Satirical Rabbit in the same room? Oh, that's a good question. I think a lot of people have known how original was. Hollywood movies have put a negative reputation on the Sicilian community. It has caused riots. Is UB Sicilian, Hook Lorraine? They used to protect the neighborhoods from gangs. Now these street gangs run the once controlled Italian neighborhoods. About MGTOW. It's like, yeah, MGTOW will work for a lot of men. However, there is a higher state of being that is found amongst humans, and it is when you are able to combine two very complementary entities together. And the most basic of all this, maybe, perhaps the most basic, is a male and a female. And if you're not going to strive to achieve that union, what are you doing? I mean, what are you doing? You're gonna. It's crazy. But also a part of that is that even the path to find that type of a union is very fraught with heartbreak. It's very fraught with disappointments. And them's the rules. Them's the rules of reality. There's really no way around it. So it's just, you got to go for it. I just feel like MGTOW is kind of just giving up. It's kind of just giving up and saying, nobody out there is worthy of my love or whatever. Or no one out there is trustworthy enough to get that close to me. And that's just, it seems like a very black-pilled way to live. It would be, you don't want to live like that, man. Speaking of black pill, I really like to watch black pill. Incel TV has some funny content. As a matter of fact, for a portion of the New Year's Eve, while the ball is dropping bullshit, they did a live stream, and it was humorous and depressing, and it's just something else. I really feel like the incels are an underdog. I always want to take the underdog, always. I can't help it. Uh, and these guys seem really hurt, man. I mean, they break they break down the numbers and how it works, and especially since dating apps have taken off, Tinder, things like this. Uh, it's not looking good for them. But the fact is, they take this information about the unlikeliness of romantic love in their life and wallow in it and don't make it good. Uh, Boo Madly, most of my Italian family members are actually from Venice, but I have like two or three very distant relatives that are Sicilian. Okay, cool. So I understand what you're saying. You locked in there. You got them. You got them connects. I hear what you're saying. Like your third cousin, he knows a guy that's hung out with that dude that done something. Too much of a Chad. Incels don't like me. I can see that. Chad, do the incels give you beef? Nah, they beef with me. A lot of people assume that I'm an incel, but I'm not. I actually was asexual, and I choose to be. Comment, putting a pin in that, coming back to it. I'm too Chad to give them the time of day. Word. Volcel. I've been cringy enough to use the word Volcel before, but I openly admit that it's cringe. Hmm. Hey, Bunny, if you're waving at me, or Bradley. Okay, Bradley, that's who we're waving at. Hey, Bradley, thanks for coming, man. I didn't see you scroll through there. I'm sorry. Um, asexual. Asexual. You know, in a way, I can actually identify quite well with the concept of asexual because um, it is very much possible to be less sexually motivated than the majority of people. Uh, as a matter of fact, I would even count myself among that because, frankly, the level of hornt that I see online and in the real world seems amazingly high to me. It seems like people are so horned all the time. And it's disturbing, but hey, my little brother Cody is in the chat. What is up, Cody? Thank you so much for coming by, brother. Appreciate that very much. Um, but being asexual, dude, I don't know. It's like a possibility, I suppose. But it's also kind of it's different for females and males too, of course. But it just seems like such a give up, you're just folding ultimately. You're not going to try anymore. You don't think that there's really any connection out there that's worth it, which it's just a cop out, man. I don't know. Also, I'm retarded. I'm full blown retarded and don't know anything. So take that into consideration. Absolutely. Uh, hmm. Yeah. Uh, hey, Maggie. Wow. Thanks for showing up. That's great. Um, Cody is my brother, and I love the hell out of my brother. I know that things are going in a way, and yeah, it's anyway. I love you, bro. I love you, brother. Um, I was just discussing about how soy is turning the frogs gay, Cody. I was talking about how soy is turning everybody more feminized, dude, and you know that's the old thing Alex Jones said, man. He said they're putting chemicals in the water to turn the frogs gay, but it's actually way worse than that. It's like, whether intentionally or not, They are putting chemicals in the water that is feminizing us all. But then, on top of that, it's not the water, bro. It's the Sonic burger. And if there's one place that I thought I could go for some wholesome, non GMO, non soyed out food, I thought it would be the Sonic burger. But no, Sonic is flooded with soy, so I can't do it. I'm going to be stuck with drinking water because, high fructose corn syrup, that's not exactly a good alternative to soy milk. That's still bad. That's still really bad. It'd be like going from realizing that drinking gasoline isn't good for you and then starting drinking diesel. You know what I mean? Eggs are. I'm going to have to find out about eggs being soy free, Bunny Cha Cha, because, man, your man likes to cook eggs. I cook a lot of eggs, man. I like legs. I like to cook the eggs and legs, but I really enjoy it. Fuck Red Pill, dude. They do. They have soy. I figured they're probably making the chickens take some kind of super soy supplement so they'll give more eggs, right? I'm gonna go, Big Medley. Thank you, though, for the video you uploaded. Yeah, Hulkarine. I'm sorry I didn't address that even more, but that meant a lot to me. Thank you, Hulkarine, for posting that video. For real, that meant a lot to me that you responded like that. I just I can just relate to how you were feeling at the time, and I just really wanted to give you some sort of a uh, shoulder to lean on, or at least some good thoughts and encouragement. But thank you for responding to that, Hulk. Did you see Miss Mia Culpa's vid on soy and the candy bars? I asked her if candy bars would make me end up like Christian. Yes, her video about the soy and the candy was what kicked off my day, basically. I was having my morning coffee, and then and then I realized that, yeah, she's right, actually, soy's in everything. Explain what you're talking about. Sorry I came in late. What's the deal with soy? Fill me in, please. Okay, the deal with soy is there's soy in everything. And I mean, of course, that's an oversimplification, but there's soy in candy, there's soy in bread, there's soy in it's so very close to everything. And I will point out also that it seems to follow a pattern of uh, the more American you eat, the more like soda pops, candy, ho-hos, Twinkies, pizza, just what we fat Americans like to eat. It's full of soy. Okay. Soy is a xenoestrogen, meaning that once you intake it into your body, it can turn into estrogen, which, and since it's being fed to us on levels unheard of before, what would happen if you were giving the entire society a bunch of estrogen is the women would go crazy because they are now getting, up to double dosed on estrogen. And the men would become less motivated, less masculine in general, and you would probably see an explosion in homosexuality. Now, I think that's just what would happen if the society were be given a bunch of soy. So then I started looking at the things that I'm eating and drinking, and there's nothing without soy in it. Nothing. It's just all soy. And what I did not find soy in that I consumed was basically soda with high fructose corn syrup. It's when the consequences of consuming this level of xenoestrogen, the results on a large enough timeline is to become a cat boy, a transsexual, or a homosexual. That is just the natural result of consuming that level of xenoestrogen. Now, if that were taking place and had been taking place, what would you see in society? Well, you'd see 100% what's taking place in Western society. You would see an explosion of man children, which I include myself in that, less motivated men, feminized men, and women who are getting estrogen, which drives your hormones crazy. It will literally make you insane. And, well, yeah. It's okay. La 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 la. Hey now, go play. Hey now. Okay. Anyway, got to keep the vibe light. So, I've decided, and we're wrapping up here. This is when I'm clapping and wrapping it up. The clap wrap. Okay, yeah. So, what I'm saying is, I have a severe soy allergy, and I must behave as such from now on. I think what I'll do to hold myself accountable is I will video record anything that I would normally eat that I detect has soy in it and not be able to eat that thing anymore. So I think what's going to happen is I'm going to lose a lot of weight because I'm going to have to scramble to find anything without soy in it. So that's what I'm going to do. Everybody in here, I appreciate you coming by and hanging out with me for a minute. It means so much to have some people to talk to. You are all the best people ever. Cody, thank you for showing up for one of my live streams too, brother. I will see you as soon as I can, man. I want to make it up there, and I will. But yes, it may be videos of just reading the label, Rabbit. It may be. I mean, give me a break here. I'm not exactly Scorsese, you know. Anyway, thank you all for coming by. No soy. Yeah, that's good. No soy. No soy. That's what we're going to leave it on. Anyway, take it easy, guys. I'm going to bounce.